DeFazio for 5 minutes.
It's clear to the American public that Congress, especially the Senate, is very good at doing one thing, and that is nothing. Now, perhaps we can capitalize on this strength to resolve the impasse over the deficit reduction. Well, how could that work? How could Congress do nothing but solve this problem? Well, within 17 months, by doing nothing, we could lower the deficit by $3.8 trillion. And in fact, the President could reinforce the message. Just in case Congress decided to do something, he could say, no, if they do that, I will pocket veto it. I will do nothing. So we got a good chance here. Congress does nothing or the President pocket vetoes. He does nothing. We can save $3.8 trillion. Problem solved. How do we do that? We allow all the Bush tax cuts to expire. Now you heard the gentlelady before, oh my God, the job creators will pay more. Yeah, the billionaire hedge fund guys on Wall Street might pay a little bit more in taxes. They're creating so many jobs today. And the other millionaires. Warren Buffett says it's kind of ironic that he pays a much lower tax rate than his secretary. Now, if we let the Bush tax cuts expire and adopted some modest reforms, those inequities would no longer be in place, and we could have over $4 trillion of deficit reduction with a little bit of shared sacrifice. And yes, it would ask the millionaires and billionaires to pay as much as they did in the Clinton era, an era when we had 3.8% unemployment, and we actually paid down debt in this country. That was good for all Americans. And we asked those who are most capable to contribute the most, but we asked a little bit of everybody. And that's what this doing nothing would do. Now, after we've restored some confidence here by this big step of doing nothing, we could do another half of nothing and put people back to work. Now, how can we do half of nothing and put people back to work? Well, President Obama has adopted this cockamamie Republican idea of a Social Security tax holiday putting people to work. I know a lot of families that can use an extra $20 a week. That's true. But them spending $20 a week on junk made in China or food on the table doesn't put any Americans back to work. And if you're unemployed today, one of the 18 million unemployed, you don't get the $20 a week. But we're borrowing $110 billion to do that under the guise that this is creating jobs. And the President mentioned last night he wants to continue creating jobs that way. Well, guess what? It's not working. So we do half of nothing. We allow the Social Security tax holiday to expire. Doesn't create any jobs. We don't borrow the $110 billion from China to put in the Social Security Trust Fund. Instead, we borrow $110 billion to put people back to work in private sector jobs. We resolve to begin to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. $110 billion applied to the 150,000 bridges falling down on the federal system, the $80 billion backlog on our transit vehicles, the pavement that's disintegrating across the country could put millions to work. And not just construction workers. Engineers would go to work. People who manufacture things, steel, buses, tires, engines, all those people would go to work. We could put millions to work, and guess what that does? When people go to work, they don't collect unemployment, they don't need food stamps to feed their family, and they pay taxes. That reduces the deficit too. So by doing one big nothing and one half of nothing, and then one little action to put people back to work, nothing that anybody's talking about around here. Where are the jobs? Who's talking about jobs? We need jobs. Let's stop blathering around here. Let's resolve to do nothing and solve the debt crisis, and resolve to do half of nothing and then apply the money that we save by doing that nothing to putting people back to work. That's an agenda a little more productive for the American people.
Gentleman yields back.